Yvonne, I am so excited that you are on the podcast. Thank you for saying yes, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for being amazing, and thank you for inviting me. This is so much fun. We're going to have a good time. I feel it already. The energy is aligned.
I love it. I love it. Okay, and you look amazing. And I feel like everyone listening should know this bang fringe that you're giving me, this like soft pink sweater. I mean, some of these cuts are going to be on social media, and people need to tag you and let you know, girl, you look good.
Well, listen, I was trying to do the pink for the book cover.
Yes. I'm here for it. Well, welcome to the show. I'm so excited that you're here. We have so much to talk about. I'm not even kidding you. I have like 2 pages full of notes that we prepared for this conversation. But I want to first start off with just, you are hilarious. Like, not only do you write hilarity, you are just a hilarious person. We're going to get into, you are a writer, you are creative, you are an actress. I mean, there's so much to you, but this is where I want to start off. You are going to answer this pervasive question, and this is where we're going to dive in, and we're going to go out to all the things that we need to talk about in this. But I love that you are not just hilarious. I love that you are irreverent sometimes, and I'm here for it. So the question I'm asking, as a comedian that goes on tour and writes and is in shows, you are also a believer. And I think that maybe people who might know you from HBO or comedy specials might not necessarily know, but you are a hilarious woman of God. So the question I'm asking, and somebody asked me this at church, they said, does God have a sense of humor? Like, is God funny?
Oh, God is hysterical.
Okay. To unpack that. I want you to unpack. This is where we're starting. All right. This is our floor. I want to have a comedian talk about, do you think that God is funny?
Well, first, God got jokes. My last name is Orji, and he got me out here being a virgin. So let's just, you know what I mean? Like, God got jokes. I was like, I should have been living my best Orji life. And he was like, nah, you're just one man. And I'm like, what? That my name don't even lend itself to that, God. But no, just one man. So he's funny.
Oh, we're already starting this podcast. The podcast is entitled We're Going There, and we're already talking about Jesus and virginity. I mean, does it get better than this, fam?
What are you talking about? I mean, no, I'll never forget the one time I found out how funny God was. This is like new believer Jesus is funny. I was in college, because I got saved when I was 17. And I remembered I went to school in DC. I was walking to the subway. And this guy rolled up on me in like a hoopty and was like, hey, girl, can I holler at you? And I looked at him and I was like, mm-mm. And I was so mad. And I was walking to this subway and I was like, God, why did he think he had a chance with me? Did he not see my pearls? I had my grandmama's pearl necklace on. Did he not see my grandmama's pearls on? And God in that instant said, but you the one walking through the subway though. Said, whose side are you on? Like he humbled me so quick. I am good and grown, and I still remember that moment where I was like, how dare this man in his hoopty think that he had a chance? And God was like, but baby, you about to put this good Metro Pass.
You got your lefty and righty, like you're walking there, but this guy, okay. So one, I do believe that God has a hilarious sense of humor. I think that he's using you to reach people in very simple and funny ways. And so from that, I kind of want to, you had mentioned that you were a baby Christian. So before we get into the Yvonne that we might see and be familiar with, whether it's on Instagram or HBO or through comedy, through the book, talk to me about who you were as you were going into college. I know you had some faith in your background, but what was your like come to Jesus moment? I read a little bit about it, but I just think for the sake of the conversation, it's a great story.
Yes, no, I was raised Catholic. So as most Nigerians are, I grew up with Catholicism as like my kind of inception into faith. And it was, you know what, everything that God puts in you is enough for that season. And so like my Catholic faith was enough to hold me and keep me close to the cross. So God was like, well, when she gets to college, I'm gonna give her a little bit more, but let's just give her what needs to be her foundation for now. And we'll fix on the back end. I think so many of us want like the whole shebang, like up top. And God is like, I always got a back end blessing. Like, let's get to college. And so, you know, my Catholic faith was just enough for me to be like, okay, I want God to be a part of my life. You know, I have kind of like a moral boundary or whatnot. But I didn't really have a relationship because I didn't know how to have relationship with him. I think the Catholic Church is really into like religion and customs and all of that. And so when I got to college and I went to the Bible study where I ended up, you know, getting my foundation.
Wait a minute. You're leaving out a key component to this story. So you went to Bible study before you had planned to go where? Because I think that's an important detail to this conversation. We're going to tell the truth and shame the devil today. But you were supposed to go somewhere before Bible study or after Bible study, excuse me. Where were you on your way to?
You know, I'm not bound. You know what I'm saying? I'm open book. You read all the chapters. I tell all my stories. So I was on my way to the club. I'm a freshman in college. I was on my way to Club 2K9 in DC before it closed down. And a friend of mine was coming with me. And she was like, oh, girl, but before we go, we should go to this Bible study. And I was like, Trick, no. What? Like, I don't have Bible study attire on. Like, I know what I was trying to do at the club. Like, I'm not going to change after. Like, what are we doing? And so she was like, no, but I got this flyer. Like, it won't be long. Like, we should just go. And I was like, okay. And so, because again, Catholicism, I knew God. He was part of my life. So I'm like, I'm not mad at him. But like, also, like, how long is this Bible study? Because I'm trying to meet the fellas. And so we go and I meet this woman who is just like sold out for Christ, who calls God daddy. And I was like, oh, that's really close. Like, I ain't never... Does she got daddy issues? What's going on? Because I've never. But it was just something that was so attractive about her faith and about her assurance of who God was. Like, I think that was it. It was just like, oh, what she know that I don't know? And why don't I know it? Because I'm not happy about this. I want to know what she knows. And there was something so beautiful and enamoring about her faith. And I was like, I want in on it. And so I don't know. I think we still went to the club that night, but the foundation was set in like, I need to have a relationship because right now it feels like I just have religion with Jesus.
Okay, so you encounter Jesus. Paul encounters Jesus on Damascus Road. You encounter Jesus on the way to the club. You have a transformation of heart during that moment. But then what was it that kind of catapulted your faith to be an individual faith, not just watching and listening to someone who had a relationship with Jesus, but then for you personally? Where did that take place? What happened?
Okay, so when I came to America, because I'm from Nigeria, I was bullied. And so there was this thing of like, I know I wasn't that bad. Like, you know, it was just kind of like the kids just couldn't get over my accent. You know, my mama was cooking goat meat at home, so I'm sure it transferred on my sweaters. So it was just a whole bunch of stuff that like I had against me. But I had this desire to belong. It really was. It was just a desire to belong and a desire to have, it's kind of like that Gideon moment, right? Like, God, like I'm the least and the youngest, like you don't mean what you're saying. And when the angel's like, no, you're a mighty warrior. It's kind of like, did you not hear me? Like, and so there was always this rumbling of like, I want more. And I feel like there's more in me, but because of how my beginning was, I felt like, don't nobody care about me. Like, I'm just kind of like, you know, low and I want to scream from the mountaintops that I'm amazing, but like everybody else keeps telling me that I'm not amazing. So I don't know who to believe. And so it was one of those things where I'm like, oh my God, if God is real and like how she's describing him is real and authentic, then like, this is a lifeline. Like I can just hold on to him, hold on to his principles. And like, he can be my guide and he can give me that thing that I was searching so hard for from other people. I'm in, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I'm in. And it was just that thing of like, I'm going to put all the responsibility, like good, bad, or indifferent. I blame him. If it works out, I blame him. If it don't work out, I blame him. So it was just this transfer of energy. And again, everything in season, because we had a season where I just had blind, like baby, Ray Charles face. Okay. Just blind. It was, I can't see nothing. And it was just like, God, if where you leave me, I will go. Cause I got nothing. And now I think I'm in a season of my life where God is like, hey, boo, we've had this relationship and it's worked, but now I need you to trust you because you trust me. but I need you to trust you like you trust me. And it sounds so backwards because, again, the thing for me, my faith journey, the thing that is so hard for other people to kind of receive when it comes to God and religion and faith and all of that is the thing that was so easy for me. I was like, y'all really want to have control of your lives. Y'all want so bad. It is so easy to give him control because if it don't work, it's his fault. You know what I mean? So I literally put all the baskets in his corner, and he's like, hey, but I don't want our relationship to just be like, God, whatever you want. Because he's like, I want you to want some things, and I want you to check back in with me to be like, is that what you want from me too? But I need you to be a participator and a participant in this next level of your life. And I was like, oh, I don't like that because now that means I'm to blame sometimes.
Okay, so there's multiple points where I feel like I have gotten exposure to you without connecting all the dots. And so I was homeschooled, so I'm a little slow. So it took me a minute to kind of figure out the girl from the TED Talk that I watched a number of years ago talking about virginity, to the girl I watched on HBO Insecure, to the girl whose book I read. So I'm just going to start with the book and then we're going to back it up and we're going to unpack everything else. But this past Christmas, there was a girl at church and she said, Pastor B, you've got to read this book. And when people hand me books that I got to read, my first instinct is like, bless your heart. And I've done ministry work in the South. And when they bless your heart, they're really saying like, you sure is stupid. Mm-hmm. So I really wanted to bless her heart. But then I took the book. Chapter 1, I'm putting all the pieces together of like where I know you and where I've seen you. And first of all, how you write is, I think people will look at this and not think it's profound, but as a communicator of the gospel, as a preacher, as a teacher, as a pastor, a church planner, I'm telling you, you are putting the gospel into people's hands. And I read this and I was like, Lord, this book is going to do more than many Bible studies and Christian podcasts and whoop-de-woo, because this woman has been faithful to pursue the call upon her life. And you are a 10-talent woman. You are not just a comedian. You're not just an actress. You're not just a writer. Like, you are a child of God with so many weapons in your arsenal. So I want to start the book, and then I want to talk backwards in regards to the show, comedy special, TED Talk, all that other stuff. But talk to me, why did you feel bamboozled by Jesus, and what convinced you to write a book? Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for that resounding compliment, and I receive it, girl, because this was a labor of. At some point, it wasn't even a labor of love. A child. It's like I've never birthed a biological child, but like it hurt like something was coming out of me. I was like, oh, I'm Lamaze breathing as I'm like trying to write these chapters. So I feel like, you. Jesus, yes. Please don't tell me nothing else you want me to do. Like, I'm good on you and your desires for my life for like a couple of years, fam. Like it's just so, not only just vulnerable, but it's just like, you're writing it and it's in a silo. It's the loneliest thing you will ever do. Like, people are like, comedy is so hard. I'm like, hey, fam, I get immediate response. If y'all like my jokes, y'all tell me. If you don't, I'm like, snap. That one didn't work. Okay, my ego could be shot, but like the next night I go back on stage, I'm like, it did work. You're like, I don't even know who's going to do this. And like, where are they going to be at? Do I have anything to say to these people? And like, and then I gotta hound them to pre-order, and it's so many things that you're just And so anyway, so I received the blessing, and I'm like, yes, Lord, let us do numbers for your kingdom and for your glory. And I really wanted to write it in a way because, like I said, when I heard that woman call God Daddy, something in me clicked. Like, oh, I don't know that people have this relationship with God. Mm-hmm. I don't know that people know that they can access Him like He's fam. Like, I talk to Jesus like, hey, dog, let me tell you right now what you're not going to do. Hey, we got an issue. Like, and he lets me, you know what I mean? But I think sometimes we approach Him with such reverence and such like, oh, well, I can't tell God, or God's so busy doing other things. I'm like, God, I know you're busy, but like, I need my edges to grow because this is crazy. What in the heck? Can you find me somebody that got the right oil mixture? Because this is crazy. My edges are. And there's global hunger, but your edges need to grow in. He can do all things. Like, yes, He can. Yes, he can. He was literally talking to the woman with the issue of blood, and wasn't it Jairus' daughter that was dying? And he was like, hey, I'm gonna be over your house. It's cool. Don't worry. Just don't trip. She not there. She's sleeping.
Okay, so woman, your faith has made you. He can do both things. He can do both things. I don't
Yes.
know if JR's. Whose son was it? Was it? I don't know.
And I love that you're calling it JRS. His name is Jairus.
Hey, hey, fam. He was on somebody's starting five basketball team. Hey, JR. Hey, JR. Like,
Oh Lord.
that's the way I read my Bible. I don't know how y'all read. Y'all
I love it. I'm here for it. Yes, absolutely.
y'all got all the translations. This is the new Yvonne Living Translation. Okay, so let's go. So anyway, to the title, because we will be here talking. So what I hated, the only reason I wrote this book, what I hated is when you meet somebody who has like amassed some level of success or whatnot in their life. And you're like, okay, girl, I know that like our paths are different. But you talk about how hard it was for you. Like, what did you do when it was hard? And I asked this question to so many people and they would be like, hey man, we started from the bottom. Now we here. I understand. I get it. I heard the song too. But like at the bottom, what was like, how did you get back up? How did you keep yourself going? And it's like people never really wanted to talk about the murky days. They never really wanted to be honest and be like, yo, I almost cussed God out. Like real talk, like me and he were about to scrap in the streets. Like, you got me twisted. Like whatever it was, or just like, yo, real talk. I write in the book, like, yeah, Jesus told me to give my half of the offering or my half of the rent money in the offering basket. And I was like, you are crazy, sir, because I need a place to live. Because if I'm homeless, how can I do the will and the work of the Lord? Tell me that much, Jesus. But it was like, yo, fam, I did it. It was the craziest thing I'd ever done. I was so mad. I cried. And then God gave me a backdoor blessing that I didn't even expect. So I'm telling you real life, like, yo, something won't make sense, whatever. So the only reason I wanted to write the book, one, God told me to write the book. And two, I, in real time, wanted an opportunity to tell people like, yo, fam, I'm really not that special. I promise you. I know you probably look at me because I'm on TV. I'm really not that special. I just was dumb enough to keep saying yes to this man. And like, I'm going to tell you the play-by-play of what my mental mindset, my physical mindset, my emotional and spiritual mindset were in these seasons of my life where you may find yourself, and I literally just got out of 2 seconds ago. So it's not like 50 years ago I did this thing. It's like, nah, fam, 2 years ago I worked. And so that I wanted to give people real time. You're not in this alone. We come, and it was perfect. Like, we're coming out of a pandemic. I know it feels like you're starting over. Guess who has started over in her life? Me, the girl with the 2 degrees and a master's. Like, it's fine. You're not crazy. Your family won't understand. Don't ask them to. This is what you can do and still get to your promised land. And so that's really why I wrote the book. And that's why I called it Bamboozled by Jesus.
Okay. So you write about, I may not win, but I always win. And how to take how do you take your L's and turn them into W's? Will you unpack that a little bit? Because I think that the idea of an L, the idea of losing just doesn't feel like something that people are comfortable with. But yet you kind of flip it on its head by saying, I may not win, but I always win. Will you talk to me about that? Like, what do you mean when you say that?
So the first time I think I experienced that was when I did comedy for the first time. I was at it was at a pageant, and I was I think the only person to ever do stand-up. And I came in third runner-up. So basically fourth. And I was like, yeah, I really was gunning for first. But here's why it didn't matter. No shame, but we don't know who came in first, second, or third. We're not looking for her. We don't know where she at. We don't know what she do with her life. But the girl who came in fourth. Baby. I'm just joking.
Kidding.
I was like, half kidding. No, what I mean though is that like I wasn't in the pageant for me to win. God was just using that as the entry point into me discovering I had this. When else would I have been bold enough to try stand-up comedy? I wouldn't have been. But he was like, under the guise of this, pageant, which you now can't get out of, right? Like you got to do it because you sold tickets. Your family's coming to see you on the stage, so you can't get out of it. Ha ha, bamboozled you. And so now the heat is on. It's like, oh snap, okay. I got to do these jokes. This is the only thing I know. Like God told me to do comedy at this pageant. This is so random, right? And so it wasn't about winning. So I took the L, but what I won was a career. Like I lost the pageant, but I won a career. So like I win. And so it's like I may not win, but I always win. And it's like I go in that, like I go into every aspect of my life kind of with that, like that mentality. Like, you know what? Yeah, I'm 30 something years old. No, I'm not married. No, I don't have kids. And I know other people are winning per se in that area. Yeah, but I'm always win. Like I got a backdoor blessing for me, and I can't see it. But when it come, I'm gonna be like, "Look at God! He did it again." So,
okay, so let's go there. So in comedy, timing is everything. And you had mentioned that like you're 30 something, and while everyone else's life might have like a white picket fence and 2.5 kids and a dog named Spot, your life looks different. And so you asked your family for 8 years to get your career up and going, and the Lord met you in 7. And one of the things that I love is numerology, little geeking out, but like the number of 7 is perfection and completion. So the Lord met you in that. Okay, but talk to me about, so you moved to LA and you are pursuing a totally different type of life path than maybe some of your friends. So walk me through like those 7 years, those 7-8 years of you kind of like figuring out who you want to be now. And like, correct me if I'm wrong. You moved to LA specifically, right? Before
I moved to New York. Well, first I moved to Liberia, okay, to get away from having to tell my parents the truth that like I don't want to go to med school no more. Like I was stalling so hard that I was like, you know what? They just finished a war in Liberia. I think that's safer for me to be at than to tell my parents. The Lord, running. Who was in the belly of the whale? Just running. Okay, Jonah said, "Nah, I don't want to go to Nineveh. I'm good. I don't want to tell them I don't want to be a doctor. Let me go to conflict nations." Anyway, so when I got back from Liberia, it was a whole entire economic recession. It was 2009, and the job that I had before I left was not promised to me when I got back. And so I looked around and I said, well, listen, everybody else is unemployed. It could be because they were foolish like me and was like, I don't want to go to school no more, or they got fired. So we in it together. Nobody knows. No one's going to ask you. So how come you're unemployed? Everybody unemployed. So I said, well, what better decoy than taking this opportunity now? I don't know when people will start having jobs again, but while nobody has a job, let me go to New York, see if I can make it as a comic. I did 2.5 years in New York, and then I moved to LA in 2011, 2012. And yeah, it's that thing. You come and you have such, bright ideas. Mm-hmm. It feels like, God, I can do anything. Like the guy, like favor in there was it was in my front pocket. God, I know people have been here trying to live these dreams, but as for me and my household, we will be blessed. Like, what you gonna do, Jesus? Like, and God was opening doors, and like I was so grateful about every little door open. It was like, I got an unpaid internship. It's like, you ain't getting paid, I know, but I'm getting what I'm losing in money. I'm gaining an experience. Everything was just like such a joy, because it was like, well, sure, I can't eat, but I know how to write now. It's like, so you just have to take your wins with your L's. And I think I just saw not only the beauty, but the opportunity. And I think other people were just so like, but how much are they paying? Or what is this doing for me? I'm like, you asking all the wrong questions, Sam, because I don't know what it's going to do for you, but I know that everybody don't get this option or opportunity. So I'm going to maximize it. And that was I mean, I did that for a long time.
I'm still trying to reconcile. So I'm born and raised in LA. So the concept of like Hollywood and Jesus feel like diametrically opposed. Mm-hmm. So you are walking with the Lord, you've made some, and we'll unpack this a little bit later. I feel like there's so many things we could talk about, but we can unpack this in a second. But you're making a stand for Jesus just personally. You've made some choices for like dating and sex and relationships. Well, what does this look like in Hollywood? And you had mentioned favor, and we're going to talk about that in a second, but I'm still trying to reconcile, like when opportunities came knocking at your door, whether it was like HBO or whatever, fill in the gap. How did you feel like, did you ever wrestle with or think people are going to have feelings and thoughts about me saying yes to this job or taking this role, or my character as Molly versus the real life Yvonne? Did you have to wrestle through any of that, or did you feel like I'm paving waves for people, or did you internally kind of find a struggle in that?
So here's the thing. I didn't ask for this life. I didn't ask for Hollywood. I did not even ask for comedy. So as far as I was concerned, if I'm toe to toe with Jesus, then this is what he wanted me to do. Like, it didn't even dawn on me that, like, when you say like Hollywood and Christianity are, opposed, I was like, he told me to come. So where's the opposite? Like, I didn't even, like, it didn't dawn on me that, like, and I think too, to the pure, all things are pure, right? And so for me, I just was like, if I know who I am and God called me to be here, then clearly who I am is good enough for here. Like, I just was like, it's almost that thing of like, when you don't know the rules about something, you can't, you don't know that you're not following the rules, because you're just like, I'm just being myself. And it's like, well, yourself isn't accepted here. Who said? Like, I didn't know. Like, I was so dumb that I was just like, yes, sir, whatever you want me to do. I just had in my mind, like, Jesus is not going to take me out on the technicality. Like, this man told me what to do. So I feel like he thought it all the way out. Like, I feel like he thought it all the way through. And just because you weren't in on those conversations doesn't mean that those conversations didn't happen. Or just because you would do something, even with your big faith, you are projecting onto me what you think that I would be doing. I'm like, me and you are not the same, baby. Like, so it was like, I didn't even think Hollywood won't accept me because I have faith. If anything, it was reversed. I was like, baby, y'all are about to get all of me because I have my faith. My favor is big. Like, I didn't even like, it's so, I'll tell you the funny story. When I was doing the test for Insecure, and so it was like this is the 5th and final audition. We're now testing for HBO. And I was like 12 months before this, I was ready to pack it up, give up. God, he got me twisted. I was fighting him where I was about to renegotiate all the contracts. I was like, Jesus, I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to talk to you. Me and you are never be friends. Lose my name and my number. Like, I was about to give him his Miranda rights. Like, you have the right to remain silent in my life. So, so we now, God got me together because he was like, baby, you just haven't been listening to me. That's why you still where you at. And I was like, oh, you might be right. My bad. I was tripping. So we get to the HBO test, and I'm like, God, I've seen the contract. I've signed the contract for what I will be making per episode. This is a woman who barely eats salads because she is poor, and they're showing me what I could be making per episode. I said, Lord, I know your word says that you don't bring us to the point of birth and shut up the womb. That's because we are at the point of birth. And it was me and 2 other women testing. And in my mind, I'm like, I got favor. So I don't know what y'all is doing over here. Because, baby, do you know that all of these 2 other girls love Jesus too? We are in a kumbaya circle praying. I said, oh, this is the devil. So we started praying. And so I was like, oh, I'm one of them. So in my praying, I was like, in the name of God, I said, I'm going to speak a tongue. And then these fools started speaking in tongues too. I said, we know Jesus, like, and love him and speak in tongues. And so I was like, and Lord, I know that as we are faithful tithers, like, I was trying to figure out, like, where in your spirituality are you? I pray, I speak in tongues, and I tithe. So we were all like on par. And I said, oh God. So I remember when we broke free of that prayer circle, I said, God, well, one thing is apparent. One of your daughters is going to get this. As much as I want it to be me, what I want more is that your name be glorified and nobody tricks off this opportunity. And that was, I remember literally saying that because I just was like, well, shoot, I don't have the arsenal that I thought I had because these hoes got it too. I call them hoes. But, so then we're, just holy hoes.
And that's an HO for holy and ordained. Oh.
Yes. Amen. Shanda kamohu. Hale.
Okay. And this is the point. This is the point where, I mean, you're going to go there naturally, but I have to ask because you've mentioned the word favor 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like favor is one of those like nebulous Christian words that like so many people don't understand. And so this is what I want you to do. I want you to define favor and then where did you see it play out in your life? And of course it's going to be the show, but I feel like I have some more prodding questions that will lead us to like other aspects of your life. But talk to me, you say favor, define favor.
I mean, it's like unmerited goodness and grace. Like it's like you can't work for it. You can't pay for it. It's God just when he decides to just open up the windows of heaven and smile upon you and just be like, hey, I don't usually do this, but sprinkle me. See, like I just like it's like tahini on fruit. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I'm saying? If you don't know what tahini
Somebody in the Midwest listening right now has no idea what tahini is. But as a Latina, let me let you know, tahini is of the gods, okay? It's actually tamarind that's dried out with like salt and chili. And you can put it on fruit or you can put it on like adult beverages, but it's pretty darn awesome. So yes, the Lord is up there sprinkling tahini on you.
I keep a little travel size in my bizag, okay?
Are you an honorary Latina? I'm dubbing you.
Yes.
Okay, the favor of God is upon your life. So what happened after these interviews?
Okay, so I remember that moment where I did my test, and I remember I was so new. This was my very first like big thing, and these other women had resumes. I was like, oh, I have 1 credit that I can't, it's actually a half a credit, but who's counting? But they had they had a reel, okay, they had something to show for themselves. I was like, I slang these jokes. And so I walked to my car and I remember crying. I just was like, God, I did my best. And if my best not good enough, okay, so maybe I won't make all that money, but just like, just give me a backdoor blessing. And God said, as I'm walking to my car crying, he says, I'm working behind the scenes on your behalf. So in my mind, that I thought he meant like, you gonna get another show, girl. That's not it, but you gonna get another show. And I was like, all right, God. So I'm in my car, like, but I really want this one because it's already done. Like it's already done. You know that moment where you're like, I can get in on something it's already going. I know I can build my own house, but I just want to buy this house. It's moving ready. Like it's I don't have to pick out the core. Somebody did it. And so I was like, you know what, God, you're right. You're able to, give me, work behind the scenes on my life. Mm-hmm. And what I didn't realize is that what he was saying was like, no. This is for you. You have no idea what conversation I'm having with the decision makers that just saw 3 potential Mollies. So I'm working behind the scenes, literally on your behalf. And that was like, I remember when we were probably a couple seasons in, and the showrunner, Prentice Penny, found the notes that he made from my very first audition. And this is when I like full circle things that God will say, like make sense. And he said, you didn't have the best first audition. And I was like, well, that is very hopeful for me right now in this season, as I am 3 seasons into this character. He's like, no, you didn't have the best first audition. And he was like, you were kind of handsy. You moved a lot with your hands. I was like, I am handsy, but he said, there's something there. And so then with the second audition, and what they don't know is it was either pay for an acting class or pay for my cell phone bill. And I remembered being like, well, I hope they find another way to contact me if I get the job, because my cell phone might be cut off, because I'm going to pay for this acting class so I can like shore up the opportunity and give myself the best chance of getting the job. But sure, if my phone is on, but I ain't got no job, what good does that do for me? So, these are things I'm doing in between every audition, because like I said, there were 5 of them. And then Prentice said, what really sparked with us was every time you came in, you gave us something different. You gave us something new. There was something better about you. Whereas the person that was our favorite from the beginning, they stayed there. Like, they didn't grow. They didn't do anything wrong, but they didn't do anything better. And so we just saw, like, if she's doing this without guidance, if she's doing this without a director, maybe we can get more from her with the right kneading and prodding when we're on a production set. Yeah. And that is the thing, sometimes so many people feel like, I killed it, I crushed it. And it's like, you did. But they're looking for either growth, or they're looking for whatever. They're looking for something else, or you can be like, I didn't kill it, I didn't crush it. And it's like, no, but you showed them potential, and you showed them malleability and flexibility, which is something even the best of people sometimes don't have. So it's like, you have no idea what God is actually using on your behalf as a strength.
So I'm hearing favor. Multiple times, God's opening up his doors, but like this favor has permeated not just within like acting or comedy, but I mean, there's Oprah, which Queen Mother, I mean, the favor that you've received there from TED Talks and all this other stuff. I have so much that I want to talk about, but I do want to talk about like this season in life outside of so much success professionally. And then personally, you are, again, season of timing, you're single. And you are waiting for your Boaz to come along. Bless God. We're going to pray him in. I'm going to personally make it my mission to introduce y'all. That's like my goal. Okay. That's my goal. And then your first baby will be named Bianca, whether it's a boy or a girl.
Bianco or Bianca.
There you go. Okay. So much success in your life. And I'm not saying that relationship is equal to success, but it is a desire. I've read and I've heard, and even in preparation for this interview, just kind of like you talking very candidly, very openly about your dating life. So before we dive into like the timing, the season that God has you in, like what has dating been like for you as a professional living in an urban city with great success? Like where are you at emotionally and romantically?
All good questions. What's funny is, as a Nigerian woman, I don't really date a lot because, I don't know if it's the same in Latino.
It is.
They're just like, focus on your education, and then you get all your education, and like, okay, when are you getting married? You're like, what? There was no balance. There was no like, focus on your education, and if you happen to see the really nice dude studying next to you, like, bat your eye a little bit. Just focus on your education. Don't look to the left or the right. Like, wait, what? And then one day it's like, where are our grandchildren? I'm like, I don't know, but I got 18 degrees. That's what I got.
That's funny for real. I feel you on so many levels. Yes.
So I didn't really like, I late bloomer in the sense of like, I was also too, like I had this thing, culturally, Nigerian culture is very like, very manly, very, it's just the expectations of women versus of men. And I just like, I'm not following into none of these tropes. I don't want it. And I had this thing of like, I want to be successful before I'm in a relationship, because what you're not going to do is tell me what I can't do. And what you're not going to do is tell me, like I got to give it up, or, just give up my dreams, or just, it's just very patriarchal. It's just like, and I'm just like, I don't want to fall into the trap that I had seen so many of my friends who I'm like, girl, you were an amazing dancer. What happened? Well, I got married and I got, 2 kids. And so I just got to be a mom now. I'm like, and I just was like, that's not it. In my mind, I was like, Father, you got me on this track. So I believe that you can save my ovaries for when it's time. And, and not have to make me choose. I don't want to have to choose. And so I was like, I also want to be successful before I delve into like relationships. Cause also like, my options can improve. I was like, I don't know, like my pool gets bigger. You know, there's, I don't want to, not settle, but I don't want to settle for what I think I'm only worth right now, and not financially worth, but just emotionally or spiritually or whatever worth right now. It's like there's so much more that I haven't even unlocked in myself. So I don't want to get into a situation where I'm like, yeah, this is the best for me, but this is just a season. This is just a season, as opposed to like giving myself the full potential and full advantage to take full potential of all of who I am, and to have a partner be like, I see you, and you know what? I still believe this is just the beginning. You know, so it's like, oh my God, we can grow together, as opposed to like, oh, I didn't know you was going to do all that.
Ooh, inquiring minds want to know, are you dating anyone?
I'm single right now.
Okay,
but you know what? I'm probably, it's funny because in this season of my life, I'm probably the most ready for a relationship. And I say this on stage, you know, in the past, I think we've all been like, I'm ready to get married. I'm ready for someone. And it's like, we've said it because it was just a checkbox. Like, I know I said it because it was just like, it sounded cute. It's like, I got, I have the house, I have this career. I just need some money. I have done so much therapy on myself. With therapy, with therapists. I have read the books. I am really like undoing childhood traumas. I'm like, I'm understanding why in the heck I let some things slide in past relationships. Like, what were you? I love me in such a real way. So I'm not looking for somebody to like fill in the gap that like was like not there. It's like the gap has been filled. Now I just need you to like put it in the overflow, baby, as opposed to like you just pouring and low key is a leak and now it's leaking out. But no, it's like when you pour it, it's about to be a monsoon. So, I'm really in that place where I'm looking for a partner that's also been doing their work, that sees me and is like, oh, I don't even know if you see you like I see you. It's like, what you see? But that's also really happy in their life and really fulfilled. Like, I want a partner that I can be proud of. Like, I want to look at them and be like, I'm so proud to be your wife. Like, do you all see my man?
Okay. Well, as we wrap this up, so you actually might have met or definitely like have known who I think you could reach out to, but Priscilla Shire, y'all just hung out recently, and she has a little brother by the name of Anthony Evans. I mean, white chocolate, rides horses, sings like an angel, has his own identity, his own career, his own funds. And I'm like, he's single. Like ready to make baby.
I literally was just talking to Anthony yesterday. Like, Anthony.
Confirmation in the nation. Are you for real? Wait, is he dating somebody? Oh, we're getting all the tea today.
Anthony is like one of my really good friends. Like you
said the F word. Dang it.
Yeah, like when I tell you he's the homie, just the kindest, lovingest, dopest individual you ever meet. He's like, we were literally like, okay, so are we going to Italy? Where you trying to go? Because I'm trying to go to Bali. Like, we literally meet on vacations. That's what.
Listen, just go to Italy and fall in love over some cacio e pepe and some Chianti is all I'm saying. I'm just going to prophesy that into me. Now, every listener out there that has an amazing, eligible, God-fearing man with six figures, yes, I'm throwing it out there because he can't be intimidated by her success. I just want to prophesy. I want to speak life that there is somebody out there that somebody knows that you should date, whether it's a professional athlete or a lawyer or a doctor, so your mother would be happy. Hello?
In tech, because I really do want somebody that has the flexibility schedule to spend a month in Bali. Come on.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay, Yvonne, I literally could sit here and just pick your brain. Your life is so wildly fascinating. In the show notes, we're going to put a link to your TED Talk, to where they can get the book, to more information about you. But as a woman of God, I just want to say thank you for being a light in a dark place. Hollywood, if you didn't know, honey, Hollywood's a dark place. And yet you are bringing the light of Jesus into the world. You are standing like a lighthouse amongst what feels like cultural waves, and you're doing it so beautifully. So it's been my honor to talk to you. It's been my honor to process life and pick your brain and ask a bunch of questions. Thank you for being an open book.
I so appreciate you. And, I feel as though like I'm not the only one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not the
Yeah.
only one that can do this. And I think sometimes we get so like, oh my gosh, like they were able to do it. And it's like, the only thing I was able to do was have a consistent kind of character. That's really it. Consistent character. Because it's not that you can't penetrate or permeate Hollywood. And what's funny is when you are constant, when you have a symbiotic relationship with who you say you are and what you will say you believe, people respect that. Like they may be the ones like, I don't even know. I don't, and then because they're testing you to be like, that's not real. And then when you quote unquote pass the test by just being yourself, then it's like, hey fam, let me talk to you real quick. I have met so many, and they're not even like underground Christians. They're just not like leading it with like on their shoulders, but there are people who are like, oh, we read about your love. I'm a believer as well. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought this was an audition. Okay, like I thought this was the meeting with the head of the studio. You know what I mean? But it's just like they are believers as well. They may not be as vocal about it as I am, but they appreciate. And then it's like I'm in these rooms thinking like, okay, well, this is another meeting, and then it's like, oh wait, this is a convention now. Like Jesus, and the thing that you think is not a superpower, because like who would say like loving Jesus is a superpower in Hollywood? But for me, it is. Like I can't tell you what Chris Rock saw in me to get me on his tour, and I'm opening up at Barclays Center in front of 17,000 people. I don't even know if this man ever saw a tape. I don't know, but here I was, and he was like, "Yeah, you're good, and I got more cities for you," and I'm like, and I'll be right there. The girl who someone else told her, man, you don't curse in your sets. I don't know that this is going to work out for you. Like, you just going to be, you know, really pigeonholed to doing certain kind of comedy. I was like, you mean the kind of comedy at stadiums? Oh, all right. That doesn't feel pigeonholed to me, brother. But, you know what I mean? So I think that so often the thing that really is our superpower, because it's not popular, we try to minimize it because we're trying to fit in. But it's like, my life has been one of those things where like, I ain't always done the popular thing, but it's been the purposeful thing. You know what I mean? And sometimes I'm greedy because I'm like, I want both. I want it to be popular and purposeful, Jesus. And sometimes he gives that to me. And sometimes I'm like, all right, let me take the purposeful route or whatever. You know, even this conversation, you know, the book is May 25th of 2021 is when it came out. And what God told me about it was, he said, I'm not going to get emotional. But he was just like, he gave me a word about the book. And I remember when the book came out and I was like, yeah, I don't see it. Where is this? Like, God, again, one of us has to be a liar. And it ain't me. And I just remembered believing what success looked like. Like in my mind, like, this is what success looks like. These are the numbers that means it's successful. And da 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 da. And he was like, okay, well, we're going to have to shed all of that. And I have seen more blessing from this book. Not in the first week, not in the first month, but like literally through the word of mouth that has spread. And people are like, did you have this book? And it's just like, to the point where my publishers hit me up earlier this year. Was like, are y'all checking the numbers? And they were like, we have been in publishing for a long time. And normally with these type of books, it's just, they fizzle out, but she's growing through word of mouth, the sales on Amazon. And I'm just like, and they were like, this don't usually happen. And I was like, isn't this the bamboozlement of Jesus? He was like, I need you to understand what success looks like when I do it. Because even the success you've had, I need to switch it up, because I don't want you to get comfortable or complacent and like, well, this is how it's going to be, so I know how God works. It's like, no. You will never know how I work. Like fully. You will know my character. You will know certain things about me. And if you know my character, you know that I can work in all types of ways. And just seeing you reach out to me after reading it, when you were like, I really just want to bless this child who gave me this daggone book because I'm not really going to read it. Or just the DMs that I get of like, hey, I started my business after chapter 4. And it was, I know God had been prompting me to do it. And I was just, whatever, whatever. And I'm so grateful because the whole time I was writing it, this is what I saw or believed could happen. But I was Gideon and like, well, who do I think I am?
Yeah.
I'm not Priscilla Shire. I'm not Christine Kane. I'm not Bianca. Like, who do I think I am? I'm just this Black girl who loved Jesus and went through some hard times and believed that with a little bit of faith, hard work, and a little bit of trust, God can blow your mind. And I think people are getting it. And I love that. And I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to talk about it. I'm very excited to talk with you and to get to know a new Latina friend.
And we can have fruit with tahini on it, and then cheers and celebrate. You can go to Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com because I can't talk about one bookstore over the other. Target, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Y'all go get the book. Yes,
I want to sell 10,000 copies. I want to sell 10,000 copies. That's my big dream. And
okay.
I think we can do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. In the name of Jesus. Lord, bless this book, bless this message, get in the hands of people in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. And
thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Bianca. I so appreciate you. This was so much fun. Thank you for bearing with my technicalities in the beginning. I don't know what was going on.
It's all good. It's all good. We made memories.